Hello, hello. Amy Elizabeth, somatic and intuitive healer here. And while I have been largely absent through Pisces season and this winter, it is because I have been doing the deep work of just being really internal with me, checking in my alignment and resting, which is what the winter season is for. So, first of all, Happy New Year. Today is later today. It is not, it'll happen in a few hours, couple hours. The sun moves into Aries, which marks both the spring equinox and, as a shamanic practitioner, the new year. Woo! It is finally New Year time. It is time to start the process of emerging and coming out of our winter hibernation. It is the time to begin to explore and feel into and imagine into, what do I want the next 13 moons of my life to look and to feel like? And I really want to get everybody focused on, how do I want them to feel? So we are not, and this is this Venus and North Node, because Venus conjuncts the North Node, putting her in opposition to the South Node today also. Are you living your values? Are you in alignment with your resources? Venus entered Taurus a few days ago, and she is conjunct the North Node at 4 degrees. The North and the South Node are finishing up their 18 months in Taurus and Scorpio. So we'll get to them, because there is our creativity, there's our alignment with our value, there is letting go of that which doesn't work for us anymore. As the sun has moved into Scorpio, it is spending the majority of its days in the majority of its day to day sextile with Pluto. And it's been coming into this sextile, and it hit exactitude yesterday. And it will move out of exactitude at 4:24 p.m. Central Time. Adjust for your time zones today, when the sun ingresses into Aries for Aries season and the beginning of the new year. So we have 13 moons per astrological year. And that moves us through all 12 of the signs and all of our houses. It moves us through what I view as a medicine walk. Each year, we get to go on a medicine walk through the zodiac as the sun moves and pings, lights up different parts of our charts. So, depending on where Aries sits in your chart, that's the portion of your life that is being illuminated right now. The sun is our radiance, it's also our purpose. And I think too often, purpose gets construed into a capital P purpose, rather than the micro moments that actually make up our lives. We had a really lovely weekend this weekend. We watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's about the micro moments that make up our lives. It's our choices from moment to moment that allow us to move forward into our lives based on how we're feeling and what feels most in alignment with our soul. So the sun has moved into Aries, inviting us to come out, inviting us to examine how we want our life to feel and what our purpose is. And maybe it's our purpose for the day. Maybe it's our purpose for this week or this month. Maybe we have a purpose that's going to carry us through the year. I have kind of all of those. I have a purpose for my day. I have a purpose for my week. I have a purpose for my month and my quarter and my year. And I base those around, how do I want my life to feel? And there is where my sun, my purpose, is shining. So don't get too trapped or too caught up in the idea that when I say purpose, I am bringing in this capital letter, what is your purpose situation, because I'm not. I'm inviting really deep presence, really deep awareness. Where are you at right now? What do you want your life to feel like? And with the Sun sextile Pluto, this is a creative aspect. And Pluto is a confrontational energy. He is a truth speaker. He isn't reality the way Saturn is, but Pluto is deep truth, which is why having an aspect with Pluto can feel confrontational. What is your deepest longing? Where are your deepest desires? Because the sun is ready to shine light on those as the sun and Pluto sextile to bring that into focus. Yay! Also, earlier this morning, the moon, who is transiting Pisces right now, sextiled Uranus and Taurus. So, Uranus has been in Taurus since, I believe, I want to say 2008, but don't quote me on that right now, as I don't have the dates in my head. Uranus has been transiting Taurus, and Uranus is lightning fast change. Uranus is the king killer. Uranus is a a renovation with a cause, a rebel with a cause, and rebellion looks different for all of us. So I first want everybody to keep that in mind. And Taurus is a sticky, slow energy for Uranus to be in. It wants to bring in lightning fast change. It wants to move quickly. And Taurus is the bull. Taurus is moving through the field one step at a time with its blinders on, taking the steps it needs in the direction it wants to go. And it is going to take as many steps as it needs, and it's going to take as long as it needs to take to get there. And no one else may see its progress, but that bull knows it's moving forward. And that slow, plodding, fixed energy, fixed earth energy feels rather torturous to our friend Uranus, who just wants us to change and change now. And I know as 15 years doing what I do, that people do have the ability. We have the capacity to pivot on a dime. I watch it every day in my private practice with my clients. We have the ability to pivot on a dime if we choose. The power of our choice is so, so powerful and so important. So the moon sextile Uranus. Now, sextile is an aspect of Venus. It is creative and luxurious and delicious is the other word that is coming. This is these two energies having sex to create something. The moon is our security. The moon asks us, well, how are you feeling about this? What are your feelings? So we've got the sun sextile Pluto. Well, the moon and Uranus sextiled with the speed that the moon moves. They were only exact for a couple hours earlier this morning. Well, the moon was at 16 degrees of Pisces. And the moon is going to move all the way through and out of Pisces by tomorrow at noon-ish Central Time. Adjust for your time zone. So, how are we feeling about the truth that is being dug up by the sun and Pluto? And can we shift the way that we feel? Can we allow the feelings to move through us with speed and not get stuck in them, to not get mired in our mental body stories? Because this is a medicine walk. We may be coming up against something we've come up before. And when we do the work, when we move with what is present, we are allowing ourselves to move in the spiral that is time and space. Time isn't a linear thing, it is a spiral that ascends and descends at the same time while it expands. It's moving in a 360-degree way that time and space actually move. So there's those pieces, and all day today, this Venus, who is in Taurus, Taurus is one of her home signs. Venus has come home from her time in Aries, taken off her red power suit, put on her pajama clothes, likely drawn a hot bath, gotten herself a favorite beverage, whether it is a glass of wine or a delicious glass of water, whatever her favorite beverage is, and she has settled in to just relax, to be home, to assess her values, to give herself the self love she needs. It is something we are all working on, is how do we love and hold ourselves better, more cleanly, in a softer way, in a more aligned way. So those are things we are all working on. And Venus is there conjunct the North Node. Now the North Node is in Taurus. So the Venus is actually translating for us what the North Node is saying, because the North Node answers to Venus as the South Node answers to Pluto. And that is while they're in the Taurus Scorpio axis. They will be shifting out of that in July, and we'll get to that in July. But right now, Venus, who represents our values and how we value ourselves, is there in Taurus saying, hey, what have you done to love upon yourself lately? And it's not about spending money. It's it's not about going out and doing anything. It comes from in here. This is the person I am going to have a relationship with the longest. No matter anything else, longer than my parents, longer than my child, longer than my partner, longer than my friends. This is the person I'm going to be in relationship with the longest. How am I valuing this person? So that I don't feel lonely, so that I don't feel bereft, so that I don't need to seek for things outside of me. And it doesn't mean that my partner and my child are not the people I love most in the world. It just means that for me to really, really love them, I have to love me first, because the amount I love them is a direct reflection of how I value myself. So we're back to Venus, and it's sitting, hanging out with the North Node in her home sign. Where and how do you value yourself? How do you show up for yourself? What are your values? This can be a really good time to look and say, well, what do I value? And Aries season, am I creating from my place of value? If I value money, because I hear it so much from people, am I using my money in ways that align with my values? I value community. So I have formed a community. If you want to join my community, look in the show notes, and there is a way to pop onto my mailing list, because those are the people who hear from me most often and are most aware of everything I have going on, from firewalk workshops to retreats to adult and child dark moon circles that are coming in May, all kinds of good stuff. So Venus is saying, hey, what things haven't you shed? Because if she's conjunct the North Node, she's opposite the South Node. And this is going to be really her, this is her conjunction with these two energies. Because the next time she comes in contact in a conjunction with the North Node or the South Node, they are no longer going to be the North Node answering to her. Let me tell you that, because the North Node is moving into Aries. So allow this time with the sun in Aries, shining a light for you to really get clear on your values. It's going to help you hone in on your purpose. and have it be a purpose that's going to carry you through the next 13 moons. I'm going to talk tomorrow a little bit more about the new moon in Aries. We have two this year, which is not really a thing that happens a lot. Um, Venus and the North Node are at 4 degrees Taurus. The South Node is at 4 degrees Scorpio. I also want to touch in a little bit on Shiva. Shiva is the archetype we are working with in Women's Circle. He is 25 degrees of Aries today, keeping in mind that he will be moving into Taurus on the 25th of March. So, like, subscribe, share me with your friends. I will pop information on how to get a hold of me or be a part of my mailing list down below. Um, yeah, like, subscribe, share me with your friends. Just sending a lot of fierce love and Happy New Year to everybody.